Notnerd Podcast, Episode 181, Email's a Drag.
Welcome to the Notnerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. We've got all kinds of technology news that you care about. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Hello there, Nate. How are you today, this fine morrow?
On this fine morrow, we are coming off of the Memorial Day weekend.
We are.
All the activities there within.
And I have on my screen still a very nice video that you shot of Memorial Day at a cemetery. Very patriotic looking and very cool.
Yes, it was a good long weekend and now getting adjusted back into things.
Well, and we both used technology over the weekend.
Yes,
you
we
used
did.
the Osmo Pocket to shoot this video, and I used my aging but still very capable Phantom 3 standard drone by DJI, both DJI products. And so there you go.
DJI.
Am I saying it right?
I have a hard time saying it in my head. I was thinking about it the other day. Well, let's get into some follow-up. There's always stories that continue on after we bring them up on the show. The first one, Wyze.
Yes.
Not Waze, the Maps app. Wyze, W-Y-Z-E, which you have their camera. We've talked about them several times. A couple of weeks ago, they announced their new sensors, their door and window sensors and motion sensors. Well, now they've announced the Wyze bulb. So they have some smart LED Wi-Fi bulbs that they're launching. They say they're now available for pre-order. I do not see a release date on them, but these guys, I was talking with my brother yesterday. They just moved. He's got one of the Wyze cams, and he also has a Ring doorbell.
Okay.
And he was saying the Wyze cam, so much cheaper. I mean, obviously the doorbell's different, but just the things that Wyze are doing are really...
They're disrupting the industry because they've come in at such a low price, but their quality of the products is still rather high.
Yes.
They're kind of middle of the road. They're not junk. They're actually pretty good, and the software keeps getting better. And I will probably get both the sensor, and I almost pre-ordered it the other day, or actually you can order it now. But I almost pre-ordered the bulbs as well. I'm just like, should I just buy everything? You know, why not? But finding uses for these in my home, I haven't really dialed that in yet, so I'm going to kind of wait. And there's some other things I'd like to purchase too, so I can't just give Wyze all my money.
Yes, as there always are many things to purchase. Well, we were talking last week, the Baltimore crypto lock thing, the ransomware that the city of Baltimore's been hit by. There's quite a few different stories this past week about them. One of them is that the Baltimore mayor that said, well, we're not going to pay them off. That's like rewarding bank robbers. And it's like now he's saying, hey, you know what? We might want to pay them off, which I said from the beginning, just pay them off. They're weeks into this, completely disrupting. The cost is probably at millions of dollars just because they didn't want to pay. And it was originally, I think it was $33,000 in Bitcoin would have paid them off. Now they want over $100,000 in Bitcoin because they waited so long.
Yeah. You don't want to negotiate with terrorists. That's a great policy.
Yes. But
when productivity and people's livelihoods and the city is held hostage, you might just want to pay the money.
Yep.
And then spend triple that money to fortify your system so this can never, ever happen again.
I did see one article, I didn't link to it, talking about how as they work to restore the city's infrastructure, they're looking to increase security. And there was another story talking about how many security firms, when somebody like the city of Baltimore comes to them and says, hey, recover us from this ransomware, they'll just pay it off.
They just pay it anyway.
You know, take a commission off of that. But the other interesting story was they had gone and set up a bunch of just normal Gmail accounts for, Waterbill at Gmail, waterbillbaltimore at gmail.com. They set up all these accounts just so they could have email so that they could communicate with people. Well, Google flagged it because they set up so many accounts at one time that they shut them down for a while.
Yeah, and when you use Gmail, we know from one of our clients to send out bulk messages to people, you get flagged as a spammer because that's what spammers do. They sign up for Gmail accounts and send it to hundreds of people. So, you got to be a little smarter than that. So,
so Baltimore, good luck to you. Well, next week Dave, one of our happiest times of the year.
Yes.
Monday, June
My wife's
3rd.
birthday. Oh, no. Oh, you're talking about WWDC.
Yes. We've talked several times about it is developer conference season, and Apple kind of brings in the tail with their Worldwide Developers Conference in California. And so next Monday, they'll be having the keynote.
And if the iconography of this event, it means anything. If you're a monkey, your mind's going to be blown.
Yes,
because they have they have branding for each of these events, and it looks to be a monkey emoji with its mind being blown and millions of things just flying out of its head. So I hope that it's everything that we hope for, all the things that we want. Yep. It's going to make all of our wishes come true for future Apple products. But I've learned I should probably prepare myself to be disappointed.
Well, yes, and I actually there's a Apple podcast called Upgrade with Jason Snell and Mike Hurley, and for every Apple event, they do a draft where they make their picks for what the event's going to announce.
It's like a sporting event type draft thing.
And then they score that to see who wins. So they try to predict what's going to be announced on stage during the event. And I was listening through that. I don't recommend it. They go way in depth, and I would just rather watch it and see what they actually announce instead of trying. We don't do a ton of rumor stuff. Sometimes we'll do some of the big ones, but next Monday, so next week's episode will most likely, unless they completely announce nothing, which is very unlikely, we will have a WWDC or WWDC, as those in the tech bubble call it, to let you guys know and discuss what they announce. It is usually mostly about the software that will then be released in the fall to give developers a chance to get ready for it, update their apps and that stuff, but there might be some other things.
Now, Nate, if you were to pick one thing for this next version of iOS software, iOS 13, what would it be? Just one improvement. What would you pick?
I would say, after using my Google Pixel 3a for a couple of weeks, it would be at least to have a guest account on a phone where somebody could log in as kind of a second account, like if you're giving your phone, they need to make a phone call, but you don't want them getting into all your other stuff to have access to that, which Android has. That would be one thing. How about you? I
think dark mode. That's the thing I keep coming back to. I get tired of being blinded at night when I launch the settings to turn my Bluetooth on and off or whatever, and I'm blinded. It's like, why? I don't want that. So I think system-wide dark mode is what I would hope
Which
for.
Is very likely. Mine, not as likely. But like has been a recent trend, Apple has not waited for their event to start announcing some things. Last week, they announced some new MacBook Pros. They're basically just a spec bump, and they've improved the keyboard that'll, I was going to say a lot of people, that some people complain a lot about and some people have issues with. It's a very small proportion, but they've made another revision on those keyboards and put some great new processors in the laptop. As I've talked about many times, I have been waiting to purchase a new laptop, and so I think I'm going to wait till after WWDC just to make sure, because there's this rumor like new futuristic laptop that they might release, but I think I probably will go ahead and purchase one of these. And then this morning, before we started recording, they announced out of nowhere an update to the iPod Touch.
And I think it's been 3 years since the last one was updated.
I think it was 2015, so almost 4 years since they've updated this device.
So the iPod Touch is the iPhone's little brother. I mean, it's basically an iPhone with no cellular antenna in it. And it's plodded along over the years with small upgrades. And they obviously are selling enough of these to parents who have children that they don't want them to have a phone, but they still want to play games or run apps or do various things. It's a nice compromise. But when you look at the ones that have like high storage, the price tag seems a little out of sorts.
Yeah.
You can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these iPod Touches when you could easily just buy a phone.
That was what I was debating, because I had actually been talking about a month ago. A friend of mine, he was doing some traveling. He's got two sons that are elementary school age, and so they had some like super old whatever it was devices. Like, I think I'm going to run out and get some iPod Touches, and I'm like, well, at full price.
Yeah.
These ones are 4 years old.
Yes.
There's rumors a new one might be coming. What about the new iPad mini? What about a used phone? Just don't have a data service on it. So it is complicated. They do seem a little expensive for what you're getting. It's the same
chassis
size with a super tiny screen.
An old screen.
I found one in a drawer that was probably 6 or 7 years old that a neighbor had given me. He couldn't get to work, and I'd gotten it booted up, and Isla was using it, and my wife held it, and she's like, this thing's so tiny, the screen's so tiny. And I said, we had phones not too long ago where the screens were that size.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have Touch ID, doesn't have Face ID, it doesn't have the top-of-the-line camera. It has last year's processor, but it does fit a niche or a niche, son of a niche.
Yes.
For some people. So it is good that they at least upgraded the processor and made it a little more.
So that it's maybe a little more worth buying. But I would recommend to anyone who's interested in getting a device for your child to do non-cell phone type stuff is just to buy them an old cell phone, pop the SIM card out, or put a dummy SIM card in there that doesn't do anything. You probably could save $200, $300.
Yeah, get
and have a better device.
Yeah, like an iPhone 6S or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we have talked many a time about our dislike for vertical video. And
Nike.
So when Instagram announced their IGTV, which was only in vertical video, we expressed our disdain for the service. Well, they listened, and they probably listen to every single person that creates for IGTV, and they're going to add landscape videos so that if you're doing a TV-type show, you can actually do it in a TV-type format instead of trying to scrunch everybody together in a vertical video.
You know who loves vertical video? Nobody. Stop making it. Don't make it. Nobody likes it.
No. You know what everybody likes, though? Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
And this week, if you are a business person, if you are an individual who likes to communicate via email, well, let's be honest. Does anyone like to communicate via email? I don't think so.
I'd rather do that than the phone, but yes.
That's true.
Not.
One person has expressed email as being a to-do list that other people can write for you. And
Yes.
I agree with that. Regardless, we all have to use email, and I like to use email on my phone. Many people don't. But if you are using an iOS device with the built-in mail application, I've got a tip that you might want to know about. Back in the old days, if you wanted to create a new message and then kind of back out of that message, for example, you're typing a new message saying, hey, let's eat dinner at this new fangled place. I'd really love to do that. Oh, shoot, I just got an email from them and that had the address. So you'd have to cancel the message, save it as a draft, open up the promotional email, copy the address, go back into your drafts, open it back up, paste it back. It was just this whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you're on a modern iOS device with the mail application, if you're typing a new message to somebody, you can simply drag from the top of the screen down. There's a little handle at the top of your message. You can swipe it down, and it puts it in a little draft area at the bottom of your screen, and you can look at other emails. You could start new emails. You could do whatever you want to do, copy and paste information. And then to reactivate your paused message, you just tap it at the bottom of the screen, and it pops right back up, and you can continue right where you left off. So it's a very efficient way to go in and out of an email that you're currently drafting.
Nice. Yeah, that is helpful. That is the problem with the smaller devices and not having multiple windows open at the same time. Like in Gmail on my computer, there's a little pop-out button in the top right message. So if I'm replying to somebody or trying to look at other emails at the same time, I can have a second window open. But on our devices,
on our
we are
tiny,
not there yet.
Our little 7-inch phones. Is that little?
Yes.
But, we were just talking about the iPod Touch. Imagine trying to multitask on that small screen. You need something like this to where you can easily go in and out of windows and do various things without having to save a draft. That seems silly. So as software is evolving, things are becoming more and more efficient. And that's why we are both excited, as we mentioned, for WWDC, the Worldwide Developer Conference, because Apple will be announcing little new tricks and tips and optimizations just like this one.
I like it. Okay, well, thank you. It's time to move on to our 5 takes of the week, tech stories that we think might possibly be important or that you might want to know about.
Yes.
The first one, it's actually a Portland software developer, Panic. They have done a lot of great software over the years. They've done some video games, and they announced the Playdate device. Now, Dave, you and I have had some conversations on this product. Why don't you tell the listener what Playdate is? Well, let's be objective at first, and then how you feel about that.
Right. So Playdate is not only an opportunity for you to get your child together with another child so that you and mommy can have a break while they play together. It's also a hardware device in the form of a rectangular gaming machine. The Playdate platform is a bright, well, kind of a banana-y yellow Game Boy-esque device with a cross joystick pad, an A/B button, and this very strange crank device on the side. More on that later. But it also sports a high-resolution black and white. Yes, you heard that correctly. Black and white screen. So this is a different take on a handheld gaming device. Here's a little bit from their branding in the email I received. It's yellow. It fits in your pocket. It's got a beautiful black and white screen. It's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive. It includes brand new games from some amazing creators. Plus, it has a crank. So it's very quirky, very odd. And now into some of the things that I don't really like about it. Even though it's a portable gaming system, which I love, I don't love that it's a black and white screen.
In 2019.
Yeah. And even though it's got some interesting input controls and various things, I don't like that it's $150.
Yeah.
So this is going to be one of these kind of art pieces, I think. This was a passion project that's going to probably be a limited run. I doubt they iterate on this and make version 2 and version 3 and sell millions of copies. They're going to make, 1,000 of these things. They're going to sell them, and it's probably one and done.
Yeah.
The 12 games that come with it are probably the only 12 games that will ever be developed for it. So it's a very quirky, strange thing. And I think for what it is, it's cool. And I would love to own one just to have it on my shelf and say, look at this cool thing, and to play with it occasionally. But if you're looking for the Playdate to fulfill a mobile gaming need, it is not that at all.
You know what could do that? Your phone or the Nintendo Switch or an old Game Boy. Yeah, the pricing... Yeah, there's several things. So there was a couple people in the tech bubble that got really excited about this. Some of that's because they have relationships with Panic. They're very excited.
Or they have nothing else to talk about, and it's news.
Yeah, and I don't think you mentioned this hand crank on the side, which when I first saw it, I was like, oh, sweet, you could charge it with the hand crank. Well, it's actually a game controller, so it'll be some game mechanics that you like crank on the side, which I don't see anybody being excited about doing.
Well, you could utilize it for like a driving game.
Yeah.
So if you turn it forward, it turns to the right, and if you turn it backwards, it'll turn to the left. Or there's this game that they demoed off where you're a person running through time at a different rate. So the faster you crank, you can go faster, and the slower you crank, the slower your character goes. And so there's some innovative uses like that, but I can see it getting old real quick.
Yeah.
It's like if you're playing a 10-hour game, which I don't think any of these are, I'm not going to want to be sitting there on my couch cranking this dumb thing unless it's producing electricity or something. Something useful.
Yeah. And back to the 12 games, from my understanding, what they're going to do is like once a month, the new game will just appear on your device. I think it's once a week. So for 12 weeks, you'll get these new games that you get to play. So they'll be able to keep Buzz up for 12 weeks. But after that, I mean, really, how are they going to fund new games?
Right.
Because
there's no subscription model. I don't think there's a store.
No.
They could probably on their end push out new games, but how would you purchase that game? They don't have any type of store like that set up. So there are a lot of questions that are not answered, but I have no doubt that they're going to sell every one of these.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't $150, I would pre-order one right now. If it were, I don't know, $80, $90, I'd be like, yeah, this seems very interesting. But man, anything over $100, I'm just not biting.
Well, I'm also the last curious thing is that they announced it. They're not doing a Kickstarter or anything, and they say it'll ship in early 2020.
Yeah,
and you can give them your email address. So why announce it now? They've spent 4 years developing this thing, and it's not ready for another year?
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm confused, and we have spent way too much time talking about something that will probably not be anything, but just quirky.
How better could we spend our $150?
Infinite amount of ways. You could buy, 10 used Game Boys?
Or maybe you could spend $150 a month on an app with a real personal trainer.
Oh, yes. So some company called Future, this one, I don't know about this. I almost tagged it not news, but there could be some good uses for it. You pay $150 a month, and you get a personal trainer that you interact with through the app. So you're not having to go to the gym. They're not having to come to your house, but they're checking in with you. They're helping you out. They're giving you advice. They're getting you through workouts, all this stuff for $150 a month.
I don't know how I feel about this. It might be more effective for people who just do not want to go to the gym but need accountability.
Yeah.
And we all know from experience that our spouses or our kids or our parents are the worst for accountability because you don't listen to them.
Yes.
You always need someone else. If someone else speaks into your life, then every word you say is gold.
Yep.
If your parent says the exact same thing, then you're an idiot. So maybe there's something to this. I bet there are people out there who could definitely benefit from a personal trainer. Even at $150 a month.
Yeah. If you're traveling all the time and want that consistency and that accountability like you're talking about, check out Future. Well, we have mentioned this before, but it's really gone into full 24-hour news cycle. The Huawei ban, I think they're the number 2 cell phone maker in the world. They kind of switched that place with Apple behind Samsung for total units sold. But there has been this big U.S. ban. There was some stuff before with their 5G technology, but the U.S. and several other countries have banned all Huawei products. They're doing trade bans, all this stuff, which is making it very tough for Huawei to be able to get any parts that don't come from China.
So how do you get Gorilla Glass, which is produced by a U.S. company, Corning, for your smartphone if you can't buy it? What do you use instead? I don't know.
And if you can't get something like Android, the operating system that your phone run on. Now, I did see something that they maybe have announced that they've got their own operating system coming out this summer, which we know your own operating systems from previous experience, that will not be great.
And what about your cellular chip for your phone that's made by Qualcomm, which is a U.S. company? If you can't get the chip to...
Or Intel or anything, you don't have a whole lot of options. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Huawei, apparently, from what I hear, they make good phones. They haven't been available in the U.S. for a while.
But it's unfortunate that they are in China, and the presupposition is that they're being controlled by the Chinese government for espionage-type purposes, and that's why they're being blackballed across the entire world generally. But, so that's an ongoing story, but it pretty much kind of dooms them to failure if they can't sell to the rest of the world.
Yeah. One thing I think we probably mentioned a couple times on the podcast, but its heyday was prior to starting the Notnerd podcast many moons ago. But there is a new version of Google Glass.
Oh, boy.
Specifically for enterprise, which we have talked about the fact that a device like Google Glass, which are the glasses which have a camera built in, a little heads-up sensor, that a good use for these is in a enterprise environment. If you're,
or a factory.
Yeah, factories working in a massive server room or a massive factory, and you need both of your hands, but you also need to be able to have some additional functionality. It seems like a great product. Everyday use, we're not there, but Intel's had one. There's rumors that Apple's working on one. Because again, if we can do everything we need to and not have to use our hands with a pair of glasses, that seems appealing.
How great would it be if you're tasked with maintaining all kinds of different servers for a big company, and instead of having to have a little terminal with a screen or carry around a laptop that you plug in, the display of the server just is right there in your eye.
Yeah.
And you can just interact with it and do whatever you need to do and then move on to the next server.
Yep.
So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see how that continues over the next several years. We'll probably be seeing more of that. There was another great article I found, which is kind of an oral history of Amazon Prime with some quotes from Jeff Bezos and some of the other key players and how it came about. And we love Amazon Prime. We're both members, and I know a lot of our listeners are as well. If you aren't, go to amazon.notnerd.com and sign up, and we get a little affiliate fee for that. But it just really talking about where it came from, what it was in the beginning, and now just just the behemoth that Amazon Prime is and how it, in a lot of ways, is taking over the physical services of the world. But a great little read just to kind of get some history and insight on how Amazon Prime became what it is today.
And if you're looking to read this article, you're going to get a very rare look. There's a picture included of Jeff Bezos with hair.
Yes.
So if you're looking for
worth
something,
the price of admission right there.
So click the link and read that article.
Yeah. Security and privacy stories of the week. The first one, I've got a link in the show note. It's myaccount.google.com/purchases. Now, apparently nobody really knew that this existed, but it kind of came out and was exposed this last week. It is a link that if you're signed into your Google account, it will show every purchase that Google thinks you have made based on your email account. So it goes through and looks at your emails, and so like all your Amazon orders or anything else you order, it keeps it in one spot. And so a few people are kind of a little leery that all this information is in one spot.
Yeah,
especially, and you can't really modify it if there's stuff that you don't want to be kept record of.
And when did I give them permission to look through my email and keep track of purchases that I made on other services?
Probably on page 243 of the terms and conditions that you fully read through before you signed up for your Google account.
Now, I'm not sure mine. Oh, I know why, because I have multiple Gmail accounts.
Yes.
And I was going to say, this one's kind of sporadic, but I guess if I were to log into my other Google account, it probably would have more information. So
yeah. The other one, we had another huge, horrible breach this past week was revealed by KrebsOnSecurity.com. Brian Krebs, he's one of the foremost security researchers and analysts. But First American Financial. Now you might be going, I don't bank with First American Financial. Well,
who are these yahoos?
If you are a homeowner, there is a very good chance that your title, mortgage details, are held by First American Financial. And it was found that if you had a link to your account and you just changed one number in that link, you could access or change the numbers, whatever, 50,000 to 40,000.
Yeah.
You could pull up any single account with every record that was needed to do your title, including financial records, Social Security, everything.
Basically everything about you. If you've ever had to sign one of these documents, there's like 50 pages and it contains everything. And imagine if you had notnerd.com/files/12345.pdf. Well, if you just change the 12345 to 12344, you get another PDF and on down the line. So these documents were just out there free and clear for anybody to change the file name, which were sequential and not obfuscated in any way. Man, I tell you, I just don't understand who is behind this. Like, is there not one person with any critical thought in their mind to say, maybe we shouldn't publish thousands of documents that are just anybody can just randomly type in a URL to access? I mean...
well, we do have a statement from First American.
It better begin with, we're idiots. Is that how it starts?
Not quite.
No?
First American has learned of a design defect in an application that made possible unauthorized access to customer data. At First American, security, privacy, and confidentiality are of the highest priority, and we are committed to protecting our customers' information. The company took immediate action to address the situation and shut down external access to the application. We are currently evaluating what effect, if any, this had on the security of customer information. We will have no further comment until our internal review is completed. So summarize that. Oh, yeah, we screwed up, and we're just going to not say anything, and hopefully this will blow over and somebody else will have a breach so that...
Right. So it makes ours look good compared to theirs.
Yeah, but there's no accountability for this stuff. They'll get a little slap on the wrist. They'll keep making money just like every other one.
Nobody's going to go to jail.
No
big deal.
So it's so frustrating because there's just not a whole lot you can do when something like this happens. Well, our bonus odd take of the week is smart devices. We love all these crazy smart devices, and there's a website called uncrate.com where it's kind of Their tagline is "Objects of Desire and Tools of the Trade, stocked and shipped by Uncrate." So this is a device they are selling, and it is a smart jump rope.
When I saw the title of this, I could not even imagine what this is. And I was thinking automatic jump rope, like it just
jump ropes for you.
Yeah, I just stand there and watch it.
I like that. So it has Bluetooth, so it interacts with an app, so it can track your jump roping activity. The interesting part is it has a bunch of LEDs on the rope itself in the middle. So as you're jumping, it does kind of one of those things where it will show you how many calories you burn, how many times you've jumped, how long you've gone.
So it kind of is a rudimentary screen.
Yes.
As the rope passes in front of you, the LEDs flash to display various information.
Yeah.
And built into the handles, it looks like it can keep track. It's got a little pedometer type thing. It can keep track of the position of the rope so that it knows if it's spinning forward or backwards and how many revolutions it's doing and how quickly those things are happening. So that's a very interesting concept. So it looks better in practice than just reading the title.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, because you're going, oh, why do I need this? But it is $80. But if you jump roped a lot and you really cared about keeping this data and having that information, I could see maybe that this would be, it looks like a very nice jump rope. Not something that I will probably be purchasing. Something that I usually will or already have purchased. It's time for our picks of the week.
Last week, our organization had kind of a staff retreat team building exercise. And we did something fun that my family and I have done several years ago, but have just pushed to the wayside and haven't really kept on it. And the phenomenon that I'm talking about is geocaching. Nate, have you ever geocached?
I have not. I'm well aware of it, but it is not something that I have personally done.
Is it? I mean, we should do it together. It sounds like something fun.
Maybe a live episode.
You know what we should do is we should put a Notnerd geocache for other people to find.
Yeah, there we go.
That would be fun.
It's a secret episode or something with a little...
It's the worst way to market something because people can only find out about it one at a time through great effort.
Yes,
yeah, so
much like our podcast.
Yes. No, geocaching, we had to download this app, which I've downloaded before, and you go out and you search through GPS coordinates and various clues and hints and things to find a little cache that may contain nothing. It may contain a little prize that you are supposed to take, and then you put another prize in there for the next person, kind of a trade-up type thing. It may contain just a little notebook for you to sign your name and say, Dave was here on this date and time. And it's just fun. It's just an activity that you can do with your friends or family to get outside and to use a little cognitive skill to find these things and then move on to the next cache. So it's a lot of fun. It's a fun outdoor activity. But I was reacquainted with this, and I think that you all should go out and download this app. It's from geocaching.com, and the name of the app for both Android and iOS is Geocache, or geocaching. It's very simple, and it's available. It works well on both platforms, and it couldn't be simpler. And I think of all the geocache type organizations and clubs and things out there, this is kind of the premier one. They've got the app, they've got the website, they've got like official rules, they've got materials that you can purchase or print out and say this is an official geocaching.com thing. And you can publish your own geocaches on the service or find out other ones around you. So it's a very complete experience. So geocaching.com, the summer's coming up, great activity for your family.
Nice. Well, my pick of the week this week is two-part because I always like to make it complicated. I have mentioned before the Single File Pod, the Single File podcast done by a friend of the show, Dylan Gentry.
And he better be good on his promise to sell me his original Game Boy for $20.
Oh, yes. He was. We were interacting on Twitter back to the play date mentioned before. Well, I recorded my third episode, and it is now available. We call that the Hat Trick episode because he's a big hockey fan. And I covered the song, because we cover random number one songs, Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe.
Call Me Maybe. That's basically the only Carly Rae Jepsen song that I am aware of, but I do like it.
Yes.
I'm looking very much forward to hearing this podcast.
Yes. It was a fun one. I love the song. It's super catchy. So please go check that out. Also, one of the reasons that I went over there, we had dinner, my family and his family had dinner together, and he works at Gerber Knives. Gerber Tools, I guess. They do a wide range of multi-tools and everything. And I had randomly purchased before. I was looking on Amazon for kind of a multi-tool, a simple multi-tool to keep on my keychain, not like a Leatherman, but just something simple. And I came across a device called the Gerber Shard keychain tool. Now, Dave, hold on just a moment. On my keychain, we've talked about knives. We've talked about Kershaw knives. I gave you one of those around Christmas time.
Yes.
This is the Gerber Shard. It is a very tough piece of metal with, I believe, about 7 tools. As you can hear, it's on my keychain.
I think this is an aluminum alloy.
Oh, it could be. It's in the silver in color, but it's got a can opener. It's got multiple screwdrivers. It's got a pry bar.
Yeah, like a nail pry bar thing, a can opener. I'm not sure what these little etchings in the side are, these little divots.
I think
Is that a saw?
I think maybe that's grip.
It'd take you 5 years.
Top 5 years to saw through anything.
Yeah. Well,
So yes, the Gerber Shard is it's lightweight. One of the cool things, it's airline safe because of the design of it. It doesn't have any sharp enough edges, but you can use it as like a box. Most of the time when we need a knife, it's to cut tape on an Amazon box, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's 99% of the
Yeah,
thing.
so it includes a small and medium flat driver, a Phillips head driver, wire stripper, pry bar, bottle opener, and lanyard hole.
Wire stripper, that makes sense.
Yes.
Lanyard hole, that is my favorite feature. If I were ever going to get one of these and it didn't come with a lanyard hole, what would I do? I couldn't put it on my keys.
Yes. So as I purchased this, I've had it for a couple months, and I kept meaning to bring it up on the podcast, but I'm glad I didn't because they have come out with the new model.
The Shard 2.
The Shard 2, which they actually call the Gerber, I love the name, the Gerber Mullet keychain tool.
What?
So, Dylan hooked me up with one of these.
Nice.
And he said that give a shout out on the podcast. I'm making it a pick of the week because it's a great device. He said, save a life, save the day, or maybe just save some time with the Gerber Mullet.
And the Gerber Mullet comes complete with the keychain hole, too. This one, they did not.
Yeah, they didn't get rid of your lanyard hole.
Yeah, the lanyard hole is still there and complete. I'm trying to think what is an additional here. They've got this interesting, like a carabiner type hook thing. Wow.
Yeah, so there is
it's a belt loop
inch
carry.
Yes, belt loop, and there's a 1/4-inch hex driver as well in the inside of the belt loop. So it's a great little device.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Now,
I needed one of those the other day.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you have it with me. It has come in very handy a couple times if I've needed a screwdriver because it actually has a Phillips head on it. It's kind of a nice flat design of a Phillips head screwdriver. So, Dave, what would you pay for the Shard? You can still purchase the Shard.
The Shard, knowing these guys, they like their products. I'm thinking the Shard is going to be $12.99.
Currently, you can buy the Shard keychain tool in silver for $5.35.
What?
Amazon Prime, free 1-day shipping.
You can get 2 of those for what I thought they were worth, so interesting.
Yes. And then the Mullet tool, their new one, the current model, the new and improved with more functions.
Well, even though the little lanyard clip has not been refined or designed at all, the belt loop carry is a nice addition, and the hex driver is nice. I'm going to say this one $9.99.
They Amazon Prime $10 even.
Oh, so, very close. That's a penny off.
So if you need it's just a great tool, even if you had one of these, kept it in your car or something.
Very cool.
Thank you, Gerber, for coming out with great products.
Saving people's lives.
Yes. Our Ramazon purchase of the week. We love it when you guys shop Amazon. You can find some great deals there. We love it when you go through our affiliate links so we get a little kickback to support the show. Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to say it's always exciting to see. I saw that somebody else purchased a copy of Comedy Sex God, the Pete Holmes book. So
someone heard it and said, "Oh, I want to get that," and they got it. Very nice.
And also, somebody purchased one of the Rock Z, the battery power things. The one that I purchased. One for you. Somebody got one of those as well. So that's what we love. That we can see that the stuff we're telling you, you guys are going out and buying, and you're doing it through the right link, so we get many pennies from you.
Many pennies back, but they do add up, so that is good.
Now, Dave, this one might be you again, because I know the things that you like to buy.
And I buy things like every week.
Yes, and I don't see it. Maybe I do see it around the office. This is the Kusu's fastest charging station with quick charge QC 3.0, 6 phone charger cables, 3 type, iWatch stand, 6 port, multi-USB charger station, charging station for multiple devices, tablet, Kindle, UL certified. Dave, was this you?
It was me.
It was you. I kind of hope that nobody else bought this device, but it looks like a great device.
Well, this is an opportunity for me to tell you about it.
Yes, please do.
So at home, I have 2 teenage children in addition to a cat. I started out talking like I've got these, like they're something I own. Maybe I should say instead, 2 teenage children live with me at my home. You know, teenagers are teenagers. You can't just let them have their devices all hours of the night, because you're going to walk in on the son and he's going to be having a FaceTime conversation, playing video games with his friends at 3 a.m. It's like, you can't have that. You're going to walk in on your girl and she's going to be doing her homework. No. She's going to be watching a video at 4 a.m. or something crazy like that. So we have them check their devices into our room, and it's always just a mess. It's like, oh, got to have a thing and a cable over here. Where's my cable? Mine's the gold one. Yours is the blue one, and da-da-da-da. And it fell off the edge. It's just a mess. And so I spent the money. It cost around $35, I think, this device. And it's a little rectangular platform with transparent dividers that you can prop up your various tablet-type devices, cell phones, iPads, Kindles. And out of the side is a 5 or 6 port USB hub. Yeah. And you just plug these short little cables, and they wrap around and plug directly into the devices that you have propped up on the dividers. This one even has an attachment where you can put a plastic arm that will hold your Apple Watch charger, which is very convenient because my wife, my son, and I all have Apple Watches. And so you can outfit this thing and put all your devices on it, plug them in, and it's nice and tidy. Nothing's missing. Wires aren't hanging everywhere because the cables are about 6 inches long.
That's nice.
So it's really nice. I like it, and I recommend it.
Very cool. Yeah, and it comes with 6 cables, USB-C, Lightning, and USB micro. So common device cables. And
we're an Apple family.
Yes.
And so I just went on and found I think it was a 5 or 6 pack of 6-inch Lightning to USB adapters, and they work just fine. I replaced all the other ones. So I have 6 short Lightning cables popping out of the side of this, and then no matter where you put your device and which slot or whatever, there's a cable ready for you to plug in.
That is very nice. It is currently $32.99, and a pro tip, pay attention when you're shopping in Amazon, because right below the price there is a orange coupon flag that if you check that box, you get an extra $2 off. So $30.99.
Yeah.
If you have multiple devices, this looks like a great option. So
yeah, it was a little steeper than I wanted to pay, but after months and months of hemming and hawing, I was thinking, I wish I would have bought this a long time ago.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Dave, for supporting Notnerd.
Yes, maybe some other people should purchase stuff. I bought the Comedy Sex God. No, I didn't. Whatever.
Yeah, I saw your Star Trek books in there, but I'm not bringing that up again. Well, we keep doing videos. Check out our YouTube channel if you like watching videos. Very similar to the podcast. We try to help you tech better there. Leave an iTunes review. We'll mention it on the podcast. We haven't had any for a while. We love seeing those. And support us on Patreon. There's a link in the show notes. We spend a lot of time putting the show notes together every week so that you can easily get to all the resources that we talk about. So now get out there and tech better.